welcome to issue number 24, and not only just issue 24 of the monthly Dive Into the Longbox, Jocelyn, the artist formerly known as Ajax. We are celebrating our 2-year anniversary of this show.
Oh man, yeah, you're right.
Isn't that crazy? We've been doing this for 2 years now. I thought I was seeing stuff when I was looking at like the Wizards, and I'm like, I feel like, because I was like, oh, I want to talk about this, and I was like, oh, we talked about that. Oh, I want to talk about this. I was like, wait, we talked about that last year. This is our 3rd time doing this in February. What the fuck?
Right, yeah.
It does not feel like it at all.
It really doesn't.
I feel like it was just last month we were like, oh, we should do something for Patreon. Remember Patreon?
Abe, it's crazy because like when we first started doing this, I was still living in Nova Scotia at the time.
Yeah.
Now I live in New Brunswick. So
Jesus, look at you. You're moving houses.
yeah, fucking doxing myself on the internet.
Fucking, oh man, dude. No, but this is so cool to be doing this for 2 years. It's so much fun. Like it's probably the most fun I've ever had doing content stuff. Because, you know, there's some down periods with streaming and all that, but I don't think I've ever had a down period for the past 24 issues of doing the show.
Yeah, well, the good thing about it is that we don't do it every week. I think that would burn us out if we did it once a week. Yeah.
Well, say that was another thing, too. I was like, oh, man, like, when we do this show, are we going to have, like, enough to talk about? And I will say, when we started doing this show and our one-shots were just, like, an extension of the issues where we still talked about, like, a topic. If we kept doing that, I think we would have burned out of it, like, things to talk about very quickly. Because
yeah, I think so too.
I'm very happy we transitioned to making that the review show. Also because it gives us a chance to read more books. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think that the way we're doing this is great. Like 2 topics per show, or maybe like 1 big topic per show down the line. You know, every once in a while, like we did with the Sin City thing. I think it's been very beneficial for us in our comic reading journeys. If it wasn't for the show, like I have a reason to buy books now for the most part, you know?
Yeah.
So, and, you know, I've been doing just that recently, Ajax. I've been at the shop. I've been busy as usual. And, As of late, as usual. And I wanted to review it for the new side job at Comic Book Click that I'm doing. Superman, number 159. And, yes, big shout out. Big ups to them. And I picked this one up because I wanted this Kyle Rayner, Ed McGuinness art piece, because I was like, this is cool. My favorite Lantern, dropping my favorite artist. But then I'm reading this, and I reviewed it for the website, and I was like, there's some backstory for this. So I ended up going back and picking up this issue, which is a part of the same arc where Lois is taken over by Parasite, and it's just a cool cover of Lois Lane beating the shit out of Superman. Drawn by Ed McGuinness, written by Jeff Loeb. So I might pick up this whole little arc, but this just, I don't know why I saw this cover and it made me laugh a lot. So I was like, I gotta grab it. And this happens in the book too. She beats the shit out of Superman in the book.
Listen, there's a lot of guys who would pay for that type of treatment nowadays, you know what I mean?
Right? And I went back the other day because I went with my dad. He actually asked me, he was like, can I go to the comic book shop with you while you pick up your books? And I was like, come along, boyo. Join the journey. So I had him come with me, and I bought him...
You went on a fantastic voyage with your dad.
Yes. So I bought him a favorite of his. I bought him ROM number 1 that was there, and he was very thankful about that. And while I was buying that, I turned to the side. You know I'm a sucker for covers that are all gimmicked up. So I got this Superman issue here, number 166. It is a reflective cover, which is very cool, like a metallic reflective color. Pretty cool. Again, another Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness issue. So very, very happy with that. I picked up another one that same day that kind of piqued my interest. And I bought it not for the reason people usually would, which is like, oh, it's a key book. It has first appearances, which it does. But I bought it. It's an Amazing Spider-Man. As you know, I'm trying to flesh out my Spider-Man stuff. Amazing Spider-Man number 367. And what it is, it's evil versions of Captain America, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man. And I looked and I was like, what year is this? This is from 1992. This is like one of the first few appearances we see of like other universe characters coming in, which is now normal for Marvel. There's a variant of every character ever. But this is a time where like this was marketed as like, no, this is a book you need to read because there's an evil version of them, a variant of them. And this one really piqued my interest, Blood Spider, because this is about 3 years. It's, what is it, 88 was the first appearance of a clone, but this is 3 years before the Clone Saga began, which there was multiple different...
That, right?
Yeah, there was multiple different Spider-Men on every book, on every cover, but this was 3 years before that, and there's another Spider-Man hanging around here. So I thought that was just a cool little piece. It's not like a documented piece of... It's not like a historical book or anything, but to me, I think it's pretty cool to see a variant, as you'd call it. Yeah, a variant you'd call it of Spider-Man before that became the norm. So just a cool little piece in my collection to flesh out my...
To touch on that, which completely unrelated, but like, didn't Spider-Man have like 3 characters spun off of him?
Yeah.
That represented like each of his like personalities. Like he had a character called Ricochet.
Yeah. One and
I
only.
can't I can't remember the other 2, but I remember one of them was called Ricochet.
What would you even call that? Spider-Man...
I don't remember. Yeah. I don't even think there were clones either.
So there was... Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, because the other one was Firefly?
Okay.
It was the one with the wings and shit. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, right here. This was called The Amazing Spider-Man Identity Crisis. There was different... Every cover had a different... Oh, Hornet. That's what it was called. Hornet.
Oh, yes.
There was a bunch of different Spideys. He had like different like alter egos. So like they had Ricochet, Hornet, and there was some more. But I saw this cover the other day and I almost grabbed it. Now I'm gonna want to.
Of course, right?
Yeah. See, there was a whole bunch of different ones. There was 4 different identities to Spider-Man. So
it was interesting, and they never brought them back after that time period.
And it's upsetting because Ricochet is a really fucking cool design.
Yeah.
This is honestly like genuinely a great Spider-Man redesign. Yeah, how is this not like in one of the games? Everyone's modding it in, but like how is it just not in the game already?
It should be.
Damn. That's cool. Now I'm going to fucking go and hunt this down.
Right? Yeah, of course.
Well, you've done that to me before, Ajax. You've shown me a book that I've wanted, and I was like, I need that book. And I can finally say I've done that with one of the books you have showed me.
Oh, so which one specifically?
So, I had an idea that I talked about on the show to collect books that were made the month I was born, March 1997. I was like, I'm going to get every Marvel and DC book that's not a trade paperback that came out the month I was born. I feel like that'd be cool just to have a little short box of books as old as me. I think that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
And there was one book I always wanted, and I was like, I gotta find it. Every shop, I was going through long boxes, looking through it, could never find it. I was looking like a pervert in some of the long boxes because of the title this is. And
of course.
I then found out this book came out March 1997. So I said, I need it anyway. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to get it online. I've been looking forever. And the book is Panther versus Vampirella, but this specific cover.
Oh, that specific cover. Okay.
Yes, that you sent me. And I was like, this is a fucking beautiful cover, and I need it.
I think I sent you that because it was made by Mark Teixeira.
Yes, it is. It is. He did the cover and interiors. And even the inside of the book is fucking beautiful, man. And it's great. But I look like a pervert going through many different Vampirella long boxes to try to find this. I'm going through
1000%.
I'm going through the V's to find Vampirella, the P's for Panther. I'm like, where is this? Some of the Vampirella stuff is in like the adults only section, and I was like, I looked like a real pervert. Like I'm going through like titty books. And I'm like, all right, there's no Vampirella in here. There'd be like one sprinkled in. And I'm like, all right, I just look like a weirdo. Like, what the fuck, dude? They're like underground, like porn comics. And I'm like, what the fuck?
So what am I doing? I'm getting married soon.
Yeah. So I was like, but I was like, fuck, I'm going to get it online. It was cheap online. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to get it. I got it for like $8. And I don't usually like to do that a lot, but for these 2 books, this next one I'm about to show you, I had to do it also. Because this actually is like a $25 book that I'm about to show, which also also came out March of 1997. And it's actually a variant cover that I wanted of a certain X-Men book. The regular X-Men book is like fucking $2 anywhere. But the variant, for some reason, is like $25. and I got it for 10 because I'm stingy with my money.
That's a good deal.
And it's Uncanny X-Men number 342, Joe Mad variant of Rogue.
Oh, okay.
So I had to get it because I was like, first of all, I need it for my March '97 collection, but it's a cool Joe Mad cover. When I found out this is a cover I've just seen around, and I always kind of wanted it, kind of like with that Gen 13 cover of Freefall with the backpack.
Well, now that you're holding that cover, Gabe, I hate to say it, I feel like you draw this woman just to look like Red Monica because I see the same face.
Yeah, literally.
I see the exact same face
as
Red Monica.
The hair. Turn the hair red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make her a bit bustier. Like, instead of coming out to here, have it come like all the way out to here.
Yep. You got Red Monica right there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he had. So I've learned that with a lot of my favorite artists. They draw a lot of women the same. You know.
Yes.
But if it works, it works.
It works.
So, because guess what? I do the same shit. All my girls look the same too. But yeah, no, it's a cover. I play the Marvel. There's like a Marvel trading card collecting game, and this is one of the cards. And I like got that card. I was like, oh, this is a cool picture. So I thought it was.
Really?
Of course,
they have that variant as a card.
Oh yeah, dude. They have. So all the cards in that game are different, like comic covers, and I'm like, it's to the point I'm going through long boxes, and I'm like, oh, I have that card on my phone. Oh, I have that card, and I kind of want to get the books just to have them.
Right.
And I'm like, I have to stop. Like, I have a problem.
That's really cool, though.
So I was excited to get this card in the game, and then I was like, oh, it's a cover, and I was like, oh, it's a March '97 book. Okay,
right.
Like, I have to get it.
Even better.
Before I get into my last two things, Ajax, have you been doing any reading?
I have been doing a lot of reading, actually. Ooh. I've been reading the Ninjak Omnibus.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
So if you just look up Ninjak Classic Omnibus, it's Ninjak is the first run, the first original Valiant run of Ninjak.
Yeah.
It starts off really slow, which I feel like I say that often, but then once you get into the groove of things, like it picks up.
Yeah. Well, I have number one, but I've never read number one. I feel like I should. But
number one is a slow read.
Okay.
It's a slow read. In contrast to what we're about to cover, which I didn't think was a slow read, and I enjoyed it.
I will say, yeah, what we're reviewing in our one shot, I actually was like, oh, this was really good. I had a fun time with this.
It was a pleasant surprise.
It was. It was.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been reading that. I'm trying to think what else I've been reading. Started the Shadow Man Classic Omnibus as well.
Have you?
As you can tell, I've been doing my Valiant reading so far.
So that's another thing. That's why I for people that don't know, we're going to be reviewing Bloodshot number 1 on our one shot this month. But I wanted to do that when I chose that one because we kind of mentioned it briefly because we would always see it pop up in Wizard top 10s all the time. And I was like, maybe we should check this out. And we never really have reviewed or talked a lot about Valiant. We've opened Valiant trading cards on stream, but we've never really talked about Valiant comics or had a chance to or reviewed any. So I was like, let's start with Bloodshot. And I'm happy we did when we review that. But I think Valiant's something we need to tap into more. And my dad has a ton of Valiant books.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like Bloodshot's a good start because he almost feels like the mascot for Valiant in a way.
It's a good transition from what you expect from an independent book if you read like Image. It's a great transition from like what you read for Image books into Valiant. Because it has like that action, but it's drawn very old school, which is what I think Valiant.
It is.
Valiant has a lot of
school, yeah.
Valiant is kind of known for that too. Early days of Valiant, like that old school style that just kind of lasted throughout the 90s, which I kind of like. It's very simple but effective.
I was gonna say because if you read Bloodshot number 1, it reads almost like a 70s book.
Yeah.
Like the art, anyways. The art looks like a 70s book.
The art's a 70s book, and the writing is like a 90s Image book, you know? Which is that edgy, you know, kind of action.
But toned down.
But toned down. Yeah, it's not over the top.
Toned down.
Yeah, it's not like I'm back from hell and I need to avenge my death and my wife is fucking my friend. No Shame to Spawn. Great book.
Why are you cucking me, Wanda?
I'm gonna go kill this pedophile.
Yes,
That's
the first
literally
5
Spawn.
issues of Spawn are crazy. Crazy.
We just encapsulated Spawn in a nutshell. The first 5 issues.
But yeah, those are the first 5 issues, and they're nuts.
It's the first season of the show.
Yeah, it is. Which, by the way, watch the show. The show's amazing.
Absolutely, dude. That popped off on Twitter. Did you see that? It went viral.
Did it really?
It's a video. It's a video from the Spawn show of the animation, and all the tweet said was, "It's a shame how Western animation has downgraded over the years," and they were showing Spawn of how great of an animated show it was, and it went fucking viral. It went viral on Twitter.
That's really cool, though.
So I was like, "Oh man, people are showing Spawn some love. That's cool."
It's
very,
super
very cool.
I love seeing it get some love.
I feel like the art for that time animated was like very difficult to do, so it took a lot of time to do. But I feel like nowadays that can be done virtually no problem. I've seen things done with way more time, done way less. Wait, I said that wrong. Things with way more work put in, done in less time. There we go.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of Spawn though, really quick, I bought something in a lot that I've been wanting for a while. All right. This is something that has been on my to buy list for a very long time, and I'm happy I got it, and I almost have the complete run so that I can read it. And we're going to be reviewing this #1 in a future issue. I will say that. Sorry, a future one-shot. And it is none other than Spawn himself, Nightwatch.
Oh, yeah.
Marvel's
yes.
Nightwatch. This is Marvel's take on Spawn. And I found a lot on Mercari for like $10, and it has all of the it has issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9 of the 12-issue run. And luckily, my local comic book shop has every other issue for this for $2. So I'm going to be going back there probably this weekend and getting the rest of this run so I can have the full Nightwatch run. But this has been a book I've been wanting for a while.
That's funny you mentioned that, Gabe, because I read the first 5 issues of Nightwatch.
Oh,
recently.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Recommend?
It's kind of slow so far.
Fuck! Damn it!
It's kind of slow so far. I'm hoping it picks up.
But I like the way they try to lure you in on #1. It's like guest starring the Amazing Spider-Man to try to lure you in.
Which is true. He does show up in the first issue.
And I will say, I know he's just a ripoff of Spawn, but Nightwatch looks kind of cool. He's like Spawn and Azrael in one person. He's got the Azrael gauntlets, the Spawn cape, and in this issue, if you read it, he has a different cape in the book. He just has the Spawn cape in the book, as you know, with the collar and everything. But they had to redesign it for future issues. But what's really interesting to me is this one cover. There's one cover of Nightwatch that sticks out above them all. Issue 9. It looks like it's trying to be an Image book so fucking bad, dude. Because look at this is issue 1, right? Looks like a Marvel book. But look at issue 9 for some reason.
that's
hyper computer graphic coloring, like holy shit, they were trying. They were trying so fucking hard, dude.
They weren't even hiding the fact they were trying to be Spawn at that point.
And what's funny too is that like it was like groundbreaking when it was like, oh, Spawn's a black character. So is he.
Yeah, so is so is Nightwatch.
They just don't try to hide it. Which is insane. That had to be a legal grounds. Like Todd had to be like, all right, guys, come on now. This is ridiculous.
Todd called his lawyers. He's like, guys, what the fuck? What are they trying to do over there?
And there's one last thing for me, Ajax. One last thing here, buddy. I went to the bookstore on Valentine's Day to buy Justine a book because I'm romantic.
Of course.
Okay?
Yeah,
I'm romantic.
Of course.
I walked out also with a book for myself because I'm romantic. Risen myself up because I went to the graphic novel section and I saw something we've talked about on the show when the news came out, and I didn't know they were out already, and I bought one. Actually, I bought the only one I said I'd buy, and it is Marvel's version of the compact edition, the Marvel Premiere Collection. And to get hyped for the show, I of course bought Daredevil Born Again.
Of course, right?
Absolutely. It's a series actually that I have been wanting to read. My dad has maybe one issue from this, and I kind of wanted to read the whole run, so this is a good way to get it. The price is more than DC. It is $5 more, so that's not good.
I was gonna say, I think that's stupid.
And the book is not as compact as you think. It's still larger than the compact editions. So,
Great
what the
job there,
fuck is
Marvel.
the difference? It's just
Great
slightly
job.
smaller than a graphic novel, but almost the same price. So it just totally defeats the purpose of this whole aesthetic. It needed to be, the premise of this was to be small so that it can compete with manga and be cheap for $10 no matter what.
That's it. That's all they
Yeah.
have to do.
And we're getting much better series out of DC. We're getting Kingdom Come coming out. You know, we're getting Dark Knight Returns. We're getting The Authority. And I think this is a glaring problem with Marvel Comics where they do not have the library of graphic novels on the level of DC.
That's fair.
Because the
That's
ones
fair.
they released are books that I'm like, who cares? It's this one that I'm like, yes, that's a great thing to do. They put out Captain America Winter Soldier, another great one. People love Winter Soldier.
Yes.
But then
Yes.
they put out like a random Black Panther book. And I'm like, all right, it's Black Panther, but it's not like an iconic
Which
run.
is weird because if you're gonna do that, why not do the Christopher Priest run that everyone knows?
Exactly.
That's
so they're
the Black Panther run everyone knows.
And even when DC put out a book that was like, that's kind of odd to put that character out. It was the Green Lantern one, but it was to introduce a new character to a new public that maybe doesn't know about her. So I was like, all right, that's a cool idea because it tries to put out there a new character for people to read about. Everyone knows who Black Panther is. Like, come on now. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like they don't have the same oomph with their books than DC does. So I don't know how long the longevity is for this. Also, they're using that brand new Marvel Comics logo in the back. So that looks like the Marvel MCU logo. So I don't like that. I hate when they did
that. I don't like that either.
Yeah. It just looks like the MCU logo, which I guess could also be used for like, if you're a fan of the MCU. But I don't know. I never understood that of like, if you're a fan of the MCU, this logo's the same. You might read it. Like, people aren't stupid. Like, am I the only one that thinks that? But it is cool. This does give you some extras in it. This does give you some sketches from the Born Again pages, and, which I love to see because I love writing and making books, it gives you the scripts, even with the edits on it and all that.
That is pretty cool.
So yeah, you get bang for your buck. It's $15. Again, it doesn't break the bank. You're not paying $30 unless you're in Canada and you're paying $18 for this. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Those tariffs are gonna help us out a lot, eh?
And this actually has an afterword by Frank Miller, but he says like nothing.
Wow. Yeah, he literally says nothing. Holy shit.
I love Frank Miller. He just doesn't give a fuck. Sometimes I love him.
He's like, I already made my money with this. What do you want?
Yeah, he's like, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't remember writing this.
He's like,
you guys fucking brought Electra back from the dead. Fuck you guys. I hate you.
Yeah, he's still mad about that.
Oh, man. But anything else before we get into our first topic here?
Nothing that I can really think of.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Nothing that I can really think of.
Well, when looking at comic books, I always thought to myself, Jocelyn, I was like, hey, what if comic books can reach out to the larger masses by making books about things that haven't been done already? It did it like what it did with Tomb Raider back in the 90s. Grabbing something from another genre and turning it into a comic book that people from that other genre can go and read and bring a new fan in, maybe. So I thought, what would be some cool things, or not even cool, just things that could work as a comic book adaptation? My first example is probably the biggest of them all, and I'm shocked it hasn't been done already. Harry Potter. I think a Harry Potter book would adapt really well.
You mean like turn the Harry Potter books into comic books?
Yeah, turn those books into a comic book. Yeah. A comic book adaptation of something. Yeah.
kind of like what Marvel did with Stephen King's, was it Dark Tower?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So they did that. Yeah.
So, yeah, anything. So like anything that's like a novel or like movie or like video game. Like, I wonder, is there anything you could think of? Like, I have kind of like a small list here. I have a decent sized list of things I think could be made into comic books that could be a good adaptation. Is there any of them that you would like to see done?
Probably like a comic book adaptation of like Interview with the Vampire, maybe.
That would be cool because there
Like I don't
is
think that's been done.
there is not that, but there is one for the Vampire Lestat, like in general, back in like the 80s.
Oh, okay.
But it's
I
not Interview with
gotcha.
the Vampire. It's just a Lestat book. So that would be cool to get Interview with the Vampire. That would be really cool. I thought, honestly, just because I love these movies, they'd be a good heist comic book. The Ocean's movies, like Ocean's 11 and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that could be a fun comic spy book almost, you know?
I could definitely see that.
Anything made by Quentin Tarantino, I think could be adapted well into a comic book, to be honest. Honestly, I feel like
Yes.
Quentin could benefit a lot from writing comics instead of movies sometimes. Like, a lot of his stuff is really good for movies, but he's a
Yeah.
wordy guy. I think he could
He
make some
is.
good comics, like, even better than movies. Like, if Kill Bill was a comic book first, oh my god. That would have been, like, fucking comic of the year, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, Kill Bill would have went.
It's already an
crazy as a
iconic.
comic book.
It's already an iconic movie, and a lot of the imagery in that is taken right from comic books, like the way he does like the
Some of
action
it from
scenes.
comic books, some of it also from like Japanese movies that
Yeah.
you saw.
Yep, the classic Japanese like samurai movies. But there's so many characters from that I think could even get like single runs, like the little girl with the fucking ball and spike. Remember her?
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, yeah, even
She
if you
was
just
a very memorable character.
yeah, even if you just take that character and make a book about her, that'd be cool. I feel like that should
That'd
be
be
his
it.
next step after he retires from movies. If he's not making novels, go to comic books. I think he could benefit from that. I mean, I feel like he might be like, kind of like a force to be reckoned with when it comes to editorial. It would have to be like an Image type of deal where he has full control. Because I feel like anybody telling him what to do, he will not like.
I think that Quentin Tarantino will be at porn conventions when he retires. He just seems like that type of guy. He seems like that type of guy to me. I don't know.
I'm also a big fan of like the Terrifier movies too. So like
I've
slasher
heard,
movies.
Dolph Ziggler and his brother talk about those movies like all the time.
Yeah, and your favorite Chris Jericho's in them.
Oh, great.
Don't worry, he gets viscerally killed in it, so it's great. No,
Oh, okay, well that's good. That's a plus.
so I looked it up. I was like, is there a Terrifier comic? And I found out there technically is. But what they did is they took scenes from the movie and just drew
Okay.
the scenes. But it looks like they almost just got screen caps and like did art over the screen caps.
That's kind of
So
lame.
yeah, they're just like redrawing the movie. So I'm like, all right, technically there's a comic book, but I would want to see like an original story from the movie as a comic.
And I feel like that's the problem with a lot of these movies to comic books adaptation is that they're just trying to be the movie.
Yeah,
Straight up,
exactly.
they're just trying to be the movie. I don't want to read that.
And I think the only time I've seen it where it's like really different is things like Vampire the Masquerade, where instead of just being the game, it takes stuff from that and makes its own universe in the comics, which I think is pretty cool. That's how it should be done.
It is, yeah.
So, and I think like a lot of stuff on this list too. I had things like Hunger Games too, because I think that's a great that has great potential to be like a good action book because of everything that's going on in it.
It does, yeah.
But I feel like it'd be another case where it has to be different from the movie. They have to find a way to make it different somehow. You know,
They do,
like
yeah.
Harry Potter would just have to be because Justine was telling me there is stuff from Harry Potter the book that's different from the movie. So if you did a comic book making a visual representation of the novel, that would be cool because you get to see stuff you don't see in the movies. Things like Hunger Games, I think, is the same way. So they would have to go about it that way, where they visualize the novel as a comic. Like they did, this is going to sound weird, but I had to buy this for her. There's a Twilight comic book.
Oh, of course.
And that's what they do. They take the book and just visualize it, and the stuff that's different in the book is in the comic book, which is cool. But they have like the character designs of the movie. So it's kind of like another version of the movie if you were to read it. Justine loves it. She thinks it's great. It's the only comic book she's ever read.
That's all that matters.
Besides maybe Captain Underpants.
Oh, fuck yeah. Captain Underpants rules.
Dude, oh my god. I found my Captain Underpants, and there was another one too. Oh my god. Not the one with the dog. I bought it back at a school things where you have to buy books. But
Oh yeah, for us it was a Scholastic Book Fair.
that's what it was, Scholastic.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta find it. I have it in my room on my shelf, but it was like one with kids with like a spray can, and the cover's like a kid running away with a spray can. And, dude, I used to eat all those things up. Captain Underpants, that Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I used to eat all that shit up when I was younger. Another last one for me too, I think would be a great comic book, is Ready Player One. I think that could be a really cool comic book where it,
Probably works better as a comic than as a movie.
Yeah, so I have the novel of it, and I think the book is really good. The movie did as much as they could with it and like modernized it, which is like, all right, that's cool. But I would want to see what a comic can do, because there's just no limits for that. There's no budget. You can't be like, oh, we can't animate that. Like, it's a fucking comic. If you can think it, you can draw it. So I think that could be a really cool concept done as a comic. Especially if you make it like a... So in the original one, in the novel, it's like a very like a time capsule of like that like 80s, 70s stuff. So I think it would be cool to see a comic of that. Or you can make it modern. I don't know, but I feel like modernized, like it'd be so hard to get like copyrights for things, That's the issue too. It would have to be done by like Marvel, so they could put like Star Wars in it and other like Marvel heroes possibly. I don't know. I think you would need Disney money to make that book. To get the okay to make them under a Marvel banner. But yeah, those are things that I think would be good comic book adaptations.
I was thinking about a Darkness TV show, but I didn't realize this was mutually exclusive to comic book adaptations.
Oh, like comic book adaptations to TV?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting too. Okay. That would be great. I would like to see, I want to watch it, Painkiller Jane, but it doesn't fucking let me on the app. I can't watch Painkiller Jane. But I would love to see like a lot of the public domain heroes be given a creatives and make like a TV universe of, even if it's like an animated show, kind of like an Invincible type thing of like public domain heroes. Yeah, I think that's cool because they're forgotten, and they show up sometimes in like Eric Larson books, but that's it. He loves public domain.
Yeah, but God bless him for it, because he's really the one, like, I don't want to say keeping them relevant, but keeping their name out there, I should say.
Yeah, and I will say there is a guy on YouTube that is trying to make a public domain universe. And I wish I could remember his name right now. But there's a guy who he was working on an animation studio, working solely on public domain stuff and making his own comics with the public domain people, but he's making it as if it's like an MCU. So he has certain characters and certain movies leading to like one big movie. So I was like, that's kind of cool. That people are kind of taking that into their own hands, because I think it's cool to highlight those public domain people, especially now with public domain becoming more common with like big names now. It's gonna be interesting. And in a couple of years, man, Batman's gonna be public domain. Which he could show up in a Marvel book technically. That
he could.
OG Detective Comics Batman could show up anywhere.
But I think Superman's going to be public domain before Batman, right?
So it's interesting. I think it is, because whatever it is, it goes. It's back to back to back. Like 1 year is Superman, 2 years after that I think is Batman, and I think like 2 years after that's Wonder Woman. So in a matter of like 6 years, the Trinity is going to be fucking public domain.
Isn't that crazy?
Which it's nuts. We're going to be living in a time where Batman is public domain. Like, that's so cool. I just want to see what happens. There's going to be a lot of like shitty things that come out of it, but there's going to be some cool stuff.
Of course. There's going to be Batman, the slasher villain, killing everyone.
They always do.
It's like, who asked for this?
The most creative thing I've seen come out of public domain is that new Mickey Mouse first-person shooter. Did you see that?
I heard about that.
And it looks like a lot of fun. It's like a Steamboat Willie animated style first-person shooter. It looks really cool. And I'm like, all right, that's unique. It's not just like, oh, he's going to be an evil slasher in a mask like Pooh Bear.
But yeah, I'll take it,
So yeah, I don't know what's entering the public domain this year. Oh, it's a bunch of I think Popeye joined the public domain. Yeah, Popeye's in the public domain now this year.
Very recently, yeah.
This year he joined it. So that's pretty interesting. A bunch of movies did. Yeah, Popeye. Oh, Tintin and Buck Rogers are all public
Buck
domain.
Rogers. Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that. Holy shit. All right, well, Buck Rogers. Public domain, baby. We could put Buck Rogers in our CFG comics.
Yeah.
Technically.
You could. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we're talking about all this stuff, this multimedia when it comes to comic books. Ajax, you know what you and I love? You look, I'm just alternating between your names. I'm keeping you on your toes. Jocelyn.
Keeping me guessing.
You don't know what I'm going to say next. Ricky Saints. We love...
I'd rather he be called Tingus Pingus rather than Ricky Saints.
That's a callback for Wrestling fans. We love video games. And the only thing we love more than video games is comic book video games, buddy.
We sure do.
And I thought, why not talk about some games we love? Growing up loving, currently love. We talked about comic books that were games, you know, we're turning to comics. Let's flip that around. Things that were comic books, but turn into games that we love. Whether they're good, whether they're bad, just games that you love. Whether it's like a guilty pleasure or just a game that everyone loves. What is a game, Ajax, that you love?
Well, there's a lot of them. Like a lot of comic book video games that like I grew up playing that I love. I would say the one that sticks out to me the most, because it's the first ever video game I've ever played. Okay, that's why it sticks out to me the most. The first ever video game I played was the first PS1 Spider-Man.
Ah, that's on my list.
The first PS1 Spider-Man made by Neversoft, same developers as Tony Hawk.
Hell yeah.
It's the first ever video game I ever played.
Dude, that game still holds up. I have a traveling suitcase where you could play games in it, and I open it, and guess what's inside of that? My mini Sony PlayStation 1 Classic that's modded, and it has a bunch of fucking games on it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is on there. I put Spider-Man by Neversoft on there, and I brought it into my kitchen, and I was playing it, and my niece was watching, and she was fucking invested, bro. She was, to the point I was like, oh, we gotta eat dinner, and I turned it off, and she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I gotta turn it off. So it holds up. Even kids that watch it are like, ooh, because it's bright colors, action. It holds up. It's a lot of fun. And shockingly, Spider-Man 2 is also a good game that not a lot of people even talk about.
The sequel, yeah, Enter Electro. It is good.
Pause.
It is a good game. Yeah, I don't want to find out.
Hey, yo, is Spider-Man ready to risk it all?
Hey, yo.
And I believe that's the one that had to get edited, right? Because of 9/11, if I'm correct.
Yeah, they had the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Like I think it's the last level. They had the Twin Towers.
The boss, and I think what they did is they connected the buildings. That was their way of getting around it. They just connected the buildings, so it's just one big building.
But yeah, sure, guys, whatever.
I mean, that had to be changed. The Spider-Man movie. Remember the trailer for the movie? That was like pulled from everywhere. The poster. I want to try to get my hands on that poster because they sold a poster with the Twin Towers in the eyes, and I want to get my hands on that poster. It's very expensive to get because
I would imagine
it was sent out to theaters and like it never was put up because of 9/11, so they had to fucking take them down and put out the usual poster we see of him like swinging webs and or slanging them webs around and shit, webbing around the city. But I gotta say, there's one game that's at the top of my list. It's a childhood game that it might be at the top of your list also. It's a little game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And that game,
I did write that down on my list.
That game,
I did write that down on my list.
Dream come true for me as a kid. I had it on the PSP, the PS2. I tried to get it on PC, but by that point, it was already delisted. So I could not. We've streamed it.
That game to me is like my segue into comic book culture, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because even people that don't read comics played Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and people know that you say the name of that game, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah." Everyone fucking played that game.
Everybody did.
I feel like not even people that were fans of comic books, but I had a friend named Chris who didn't play comic books or play comic. What am I saying? Who didn't read comic books?
Right.
But he had a Marvel Ultimate Alliance. He had Ultimate Spider-Man. Like he had all these comic book games, but he never picked up a book in his life. You know.
Right. Of course.
And that's another game too. Marvel, Ultimate Spider-Man. Great game.
I had that on my list too.
That's an all-timer right there. Like these are all-time games, and it kind of shaped a lot of people's childhoods. I think, like us included.
Yes.
It's to the game where like I have a high standard for comic book games because of games like those that I can literally pick up and plug my PS2 in and play them, and still have fun. I found my fat PS2 not too long ago, and I was like, I gotta find a game to play on it. First game I found, top of my like stack of PS2 games, Hulk Ultimate Destruction. And I was like, fuck yes. Grab that game. Threw it in. I'm fucking climbing up walls and shit. So this is still fun. It's still a good time.
Great game. To piggyback off of Ultimate Alliance, because I couldn't pick one, I just wrote down both X-Men Legends.
Yes.
Because we wouldn't have Ultimate Alliance if it wasn't for X-Men Legends.
And that game, I think I've played that game more than Ultimate Alliance. Because I had that game on my... I'm like the obscure one that only owned this game on his GameCube. I never had it for PS2. I only had it for GameCube.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it still holds up today, I feel.
It's to the point... I played it a lot as a kid, but I was like, I never beat it as a kid. So one day, I pulled out my GameCube, and I was like, I'm going to beat X-Men Legends, you know? So I, like, in a matter of a weekend, I just played the game through. And this was, like, maybe, like, 5 years ago? Like, it was pretty recent. I just plugged it in. I was like, I'm going to beat this fucking game. So I played it completely through. It's amazing. And then I was like, well, gotta play the second one, you know?
Right. Which is even better.
Got through that, too.
Even better.
Yeah. And it's just, they're still so much fun. And I will say, it was a great effort by Nintendo with Ultimate Alliance 3. It still
I haven't played it, but I heard it was good.
It's good. It's not like it's not the OG Ultimate Alliance. It's different.
Sure.
It's a very cartoony style because it's Nintendo. They wanted to make it like a nice little Nintendo special exclusive, which still pisses me off. I feel like that should be on every platform. That was the great part about Ultimate Alliance. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that'll always make me mad.
And that just holds it back.
Yes, it does.
And it's Nintendo. They're not like Xbox or PlayStation where it's like, okay, eventually they're going to release it someplace else. No. Nintendo fucking hoards that shit, and they will not let go.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
Which I think is such bullshit.
But no, it's still fun. It feels fresh, but like familiar at the same time, if that makes sense. I know that's like a cliche thing to say, but it's true. Because it's still like,
I completely understand
it's Ultimate Alliance, but it looks different, and it has characters like... You could still play as like Wolverine and Spider-Man, but now you could play as people like Star-Lord and Gamora from the MCU. So like it introduces a lot of characters that got popular over the years into one game. But it's like...
Which is what you should want from that experience.
But if you still want to play as like Daredevil and the Hulk, and you still can do that. But now you can play as all these new characters from the MCU that popped off, so you can do all that. Which is pretty cool.
The classic heavy hitters.
Exactly, mixed with the new bloods, which I think is a very cool medium. I just wish it was on. I would put it as another all-timer if it was sold on every system. That really holds it back from being amazing. I think that
yeah,
really
disappoints me.
I don't get that at all. I will say another one that is a favorite, which is behind me here, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, man, absolutely.
Rules, man.
Absolutely.
Never gets old. I was playing this with my uncle when he was visiting from California a couple months ago, or last month. He came and we were just playing Marvel vs. Capcom for hours with my dad on our little arcade machine. And they sold the remastered version for, if you have PlayStation and all that and Steam, so you can play those games again. So I do like games that are outside of Marvel and DC, though.
I was gonna say my list so far is very Marvel centric, so I actually went out of my way to include a DC game, and I included Arkham Asylum.
Oh my god, I would say that the trilogy. amazing.
Yeah, but if you just for me, if you just had to pick one game, I would pick that. It's not the best.
Yeah,
Arkham City's probably the best, but
that one's amazing.
Asylum's the first one. I feel like gotta respect it, gotta mention it.
And
It's
it
the
really hones in
OG.
on the detective portion of Batman
Yeah, it does.
when you have to use all his gadgets and stuff. That's really cool. I actually just bought that. I got it for like 99 cents on like Epic Game Store or some shit. I was playing it the other day on my computer. I was like, man, this game is cool. It's still fun. I have all the OGs for my PS3, but I was like, yeah, it's cool to play it again. It's definitely fun to still pick up.
Looks better on your PC too. Think about it.
I'm in the minority that actually likes DC Universe Online.
I played it a little bit and I thought it was fun, but I never committed.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never committed to it. I would pick it up, play it for like a couple days in a row, and then I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna go to play something else. You know, it's not like how like I'll sit down here and I'll play Warcraft for hours. I'll play this next game I'm about to mention for hours. But like I don't know, it's not a bad game. You know, like you interact with people in the DC universe, which is cool. It's still a very active, very active game. It's been around for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I've owned it for PS3, PS4, my PS5, and my PC. Like, it's lasted that long, which is insane. Not a lot of games can say that.
No.
Especially, like, MMOs. Like, they kind of die out quick. Unless they're, like, supported by the community.
That reminds me. Did you ever play that Marvel MMO? It was called Marvel Heroes Omega.
Yo, pour one out. Pour one out.
Oh my god, that game was so good.
Oh, dude, I had Gambit's model. Like, I was so fucking happy. I was playing as Gambit. It was so cool.
It was so good, man. I was so mad when they shut it down.
So, I remember I played it a bunch on PlayStation because they had it on PlayStation for a while. And I was playing it a ton, and then I found out they had it on PC when I got my computer.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, and I played it. But then by the time my PC was built, it got shut down very soon after. But it was so sad because I was like, oh, yeah, Marvel's Omega. Let me jump back in, not knowing it was shut down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is my game bugged? And I look it up, and it was like, the game is dead. And I was like, no. To this day, I am trying to find and install safely the fan communities that still live for it. People are trying. It's not up yet, but people are trying to bring this game back. With fan-run servers, the issue is that I think as far as they've gotten is just like a walking simulator. You can just walk around the maps, and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
But even then, I'll take that just to like walk around again. Like, like I don't get why they shut that down. But they'll fucking make games like that Avengers game, whatever the hell that was.
I still haven't played it, but I bought it when it was like. It's like, oh, buy it before it gets delisted. So I bought like the fucking ultimate premium edition for like $5.
I think the way it runs is on servers. I don't know if you can play it.
Oh yeah.
So because I think it was one of those always online games. So I have it also, but I'm curious if we can like get into it.
Right. Yeah.
Which also pisses me off. Because it's like, if you're going to not support a game, let me play it still. I paid money for it. This isn't Redbox, you know? I didn't rent the game. I paid $60.
But that's what's scary about video games now, is that anything can just be delisted and that's it.
Well, that's why I stay away from games that need to run on a server. Like, if it needs a server to run, I'm not buying it. I'm not getting into it.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
I don't trust it at all. I stay away from all that shit. And I try to buy physical. Like Justine, I made sure she told. I felt so bad, but she bought me a PS5. But I made sure I let her know. I was like, I need the one with the disc slot. I know it's more money. So if you were to ever get me it, that's the one I need, because I have a lot of physical games, and that's only how I play games is physical media, unless it's on my computer or my Switch. Because my idea with the Switch is like, all right, the whole point of that is to be on the go.
Yes.
So if my games are digital, that's fine, you know? With like PlayStation, I know how these boys fuck around, you know? I know their game. So I buy physical as much as I can. I will say though, I buy physical to a point where I don't need to, because this next game on my list is not a Marvel game. It's not a DC game. Hell, it's not even an Image game. It's not licensed by anyone. Called City of Heroes.
You've told me about this.
Buddy, this is, if not one of the best, the best MMORPGs of all time. It has the depth of World of Warcraft for people that like those kind of games. I know I do. My dad does. It's superheroes. Yeah, yo, big shout out Ed. He's got his own gaming laptop now. He's actually playing Warcraft as we speak. Not even kidding. Really? Yeah.
Oh, that's so sick.
But this game is, it's Warcraft, but superheroes. In the creation suite, buddy. Oh my god. You know how people hype up Fire Pro Wrestling as like the greatest creation suite of all time?
Oh yeah, of course.
This is the Fire Pro Wrestling of MMORPGs. You can make whoever you want, and it's fucking amazing. And you can play this today because there was a fan-run server that was around for years, and like they would have to keep it on the DL. You couldn't stream it, none of that.
Right.
And then the company that made this, who it was by NC Soft, they are still around. They just stopped supporting it because of money.
Right.
They sold the engine to the fan-made server. So now it's an officially licensed server that's up in public. You can stream the game now publicly. You can. It's not like a risky thing to like do. Like it's owned. They own the code. They can update things. They can do whatever. To this day, they are putting in new things in the game, which is so cool. You know, so
how can you not love that, man? You know what I mean? Like, how can you not love that?
And it's cool. Like every update's called like a new issue, like a new comic issue. So there's like issue 25, and it's a whole bunch of stuff in the game. It still has like the active story mode. You can be a superhero. You could be a villain. You could be, they're called rogues, which are like anti-heroes, kind of like a Punisher type thing. I actually bought.
That's pretty cool.
So you don't need the discs, but I own them. You know. Because I love owning physical media of games that I have. So I got, the lot had City of Heroes and City of Villains. And it even came with the bootleg of the game called the Bootleg Edition that they would hand out to people when the game was coming out to test it out. And look at this shit. It's still sealed.
Oh, man. That's...
Yeah.
Man,
it's
that's
like
really cool, actually.
It's like the test disc that they would give to people to like try out the game. And play, which is cool. But it's funny, if you look at the City of Villains, it still has like the NC Soft like flyer of all their games coming out. Dude, it has the game card that you would load up so you could play for like 30 or 60 days. How long is it for? 60 days, prepaid.
Oh wow.
It's still the physical card like on it, which is pretty cool. The big reason I wanted this was for this here, because I own the... You know how they would sell like the Prima game guides?
Yeah. Oh my god,
I have the City of Heroes one, but if you were to get the physical one, it comes with the game disc, of course. It has all this stuff, which is pretty cool. Love all this. Cool art and all that. Both the game disc to install the game on it. But this is cool for me because it tells you quick guide buttons for when you play and manuals for when you're playing, so you know what the fuck you're doing.
We love that.
Something I always love, a good old-fashioned game map.
Yes.
Like they would do for Grand Theft Auto. I just wanted all these cool extras.
Always underrated.
And not only is City Heroes a comic book game, it got a comic book by Dark Horse. And this was them advertising the book here. This was the cover for issue 1 by Dark Horse, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So yeah, I like it for all the physical stuff. That's why I bought this, but I have to give love to City of Heroes. I do want to stream City of Heroes with you eventually, because the online... What's cool about the online server, too, it's not like Warcraft where you pay $15 a month. It is completely free, my friend.
Oh, is it?
Completely free. It is free to download, free to play. You do whatever you want. There's no paywalls. It's just a ton of fun for free. So I play it to this. I was playing it last night. Like I was leveling up my character. So
I might have to make an account and join you one of these days.
Absolutely, and dude, it's worth it. Trust me. Another game that's underrated that also got comic books based off the game that I think you and I have maybe talked about before, and I own the physical. Again, I own the physical discs for this, even though it's on GOG or Steam, wherever you want to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom Force.
Ah, yes.
So, I believe you.
which is made by Tom Scioli, I believe.
It is. He does all the art for this. This was actually a game I saw. I think, is it on the box here? No, but when I was buying my Wizard magazines, they were advertising this game. And I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And I ended up buying it. I ended up buying the game because of Wizard magazine in the year like 2023. I bought Freedom Force, and then I was like, oh yeah, I ended up buying Freedom Force versus the Third Reich. So I have the physical for that too.
What a name.
I think this is the image here in Wizard. This is the exact image right here in Wizard magazine. And I was like, I need this game. Because the art just like, it caught my attention. And I was like, wait, I could play as that? That's cool.
It really does try to invoke that Jack Kirby-esque style.
And it nails it too. And what's cool is if you buy the comic and play the game, the cutscenes are just like motion comics of the physical book. It was actually made by Image Comics too.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, but it's literally word for word the panels from the physical book as the cutscenes, which is pretty cool. So you can honestly read the comic along with the game and hear the voice of like what's being read on the page, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Kind of like the old record comic books that I found at Nana's house recently.
Yes,
which still have the comics in there too.
That was a pretty sick find.
But I there's probably a game on your list. I'm gonna guess it.
Okay.
Let me see.
There's actually two more games on my list actually.
Okay, there's two.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna guess one right now. I gotta make sure I get the name right because I always get advertised it, and it's a game I've been wanting. And it's actually, you know what? I know for a fact this is on your list. Marvel Midnight Suns.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Because you have told me how good that game is, and I fucking want it so bad.
it's so good, and it pisses me off that no one ever talks about it.
And it's so always on sale on Steam. Like it's always like an $8 game, and every time I'm like, oh, I'll get it, next week when I get paid, and I always forget.
It makes me so mad that people slept on this game. Like it's so good.
Just from the images, like I love the designs in the game.
It's so good, and like everyone feels exactly how they're supposed to feel.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange feels like Doctor Strange. Spider-Man feels like Spider-Man. Venom feels like Venom. Like just everyone's supposed to feel exactly how they're supposed to feel. And they got Steve Bloom again to do Wolverine.
Oh, really?
Wolverine. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Is that the one where like you create a player and like take them through? Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. Damn.
It's also the one where in the final. Well, this is if you have the DLC for it, because Morbius is a DLC character.
Dude, you can get the DLC for cheap on a Steam sale.
Yes. in the final mission, okay, you get the opportunity to like talk to everyone before you go in the portal. Blah blah blah. Save the world.
Mm-hmm.
The character goes up to Morbius and he or she, depending on who you chose, goes, what is your catchphrase? It is time to morb. And Morbius goes, close enough. Let's do this.
That's funny. It's Morbin time. Oh, man. Yeah, I knew that was going to be on your list.
It's a great game. If you like turn-based games, I think you'll have a great time with it. I really do.
And I was looking at screen caps too. It's like you collect like cards in it too, right?
It's a deck builder. It's a turn-based deck builder.
I like that. See, and speaking of deck building, another shout out for a game here that underrated. People think it might be whack from the fucking ads, but it's very underrated. Marvel Snap. That game is fucking fun.
Marvel Snap is fun. Like I've played it. It's fun.
I've learned so this is what I like about the game. It's not like, oh, if you pay a lot of money, you get really good cards. That's not how that is.
No, you
it's
just get
like
skins.
Yeah, all cards
or card variants or whatever.
In every card, like it's not like, oh, this guy's a higher level, he's gonna have better cards. It's all about how you play. You can have like a shitty deck, but if you play your hand correctly, you can destroy someone easily, even if they have better cards than you. Which I'm like, it's a very cool skill game. It takes some getting used to, but
it does.
It's kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh type thing where it's like if you know how to play and stack up your cards, it's fun, especially because the game randomizes what cards you get. So every game is different. You don't get the same cards every time from your deck.
Which I like.
Yeah,
which I like.
It changes it up. Underrated. I also I was a little depressed because I was one of the people that was like, yeah, shut down TikTok. I didn't know the owners of TikTok owned Marvel Snap. So when TikTok got shut down, Marvel Snap got shut down too.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I found out the hard way when I went to open up the game, and it wouldn't. And then I went to
That's kinda
uninstall
funny.
it, and everyone was like, why isn't the game on Google Play anymore? I was like, oh, shit. Luckily, I have it on Steam, so I can play it, you know?
I have it on Steam. That's how I play it. I play it on Steam.
So I was catching strays from that TikTok ban. So I was like, yo, bring back TikTok so I can play Marvel Snap again.
That's hilarious.
I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't know it affected me. Yeah, I remember I said that to Sanaa, and he was like, yeah, not so funny after all, huh?
That reminds me of, remember that video 50 Cent did where he said, why is he fucking me
Yeah.
for?
I literally sent that picture to Justine. I sent that to her when it was shut down. What did you say fuck me for? Like, why am I catching strays? What the hell?
Yeah, I never asked for this. What the fuck?
And I think if I don't mention this next game too, I might get like jumped in the street. Obviously, the PlayStation Spider-Man games, like that's a given.
So, that was my last one.
Yeah, you can't not mention those games. They're at this point they're iconic with Spider-Man. At this point, I've played them all but the Miles one.
So I was gonna say I still haven't played the Miles one or the second one. I've only played the first one.
So I've played the first and second, but not the Miles one. Only because my PlayStation always sounded like it was gonna blow up, so I just never bought the new Miles one. And then by then I was like, oh, I got a PC. I only play PC. And then Justine bought me a PS5, and I'm like, yo, I only play both. I play PC and PlayStation. So yeah, she got me the Spider-Man bundle for that. So, you know, Christmas Day I was like, fucking webbing around. But that game,
so
that game's like muscle memory.
It is. So I can only like give anecdotes for like the first game, but I love the first game.
Yeah, and the second one's just as good. I would put that up there on the same level as that. I highly recommend the second one. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't have the annoying what's her name? Fuck, what was her? Oh my god, what's her name? The one that was streaming to everyone, and they're like, you had the Screwball, yeah.
Screwball.
No Screwball missions.
But I like Screwball a lot.
See, I like Screwball, but I hated the fucking missions.
Yeah, I can see that.
Those are that and the Taskmaster ones always piss me off.
the Taskmaster ones, yeah.
Because he just kept getting harder, man.
But I was always so happy to see Taskmaster in the game. I was like, oh fuck, Taskmaster's in it. That's so cool.
But they did replace that with an equally as difficult timed, or not timed, but like a challenging game mode of Mysterio. That's just fucking pissing me off. Yeah, it's fun. It's rewarding when you beat it, and like if you beat it, like you don't have to worry about getting a perfect score. Like if you get like a 1, like, cause it's like a star rating. If you get 1 star, you beat it. You know, you don't have to worry. If you want to get 3 stars though, like it doesn't hinder your 100%. You can just get like 1 star for all of them and not worry. But at the same time, you're like, fuck, like I can do better, you know? And what's cool is like you're playing it, you're like, oh, I got a 1 star. And then the next mission, you unlock a new power, and you're like, oh, I could use that on the Mysterio one. So it makes you have to play it back after the game, because you can always go back to them even when you beat the game.
Right.
But you can go back with your new powers and try to like perfect them. And they introduced New Game Plus in that. So you can.
I think New Game Plus was in the first game as well.
Oh, was it in the first one? Okay, I never played it in the first one. Yeah. But it was fun in the second one because you could just do everything from the beginning with 100% maxed out everything. And you can unlock new costumes and stuff. So I was like, that's cool. I do wish
the first game it works the same way, but it's on a tighter difficulty scale from what I remember.
So is this one. It's a higher difficulty. Okay. Yeah. But I will say the first one had better costumes.
Yeah, the first one had great costumes.
And it peaked there. Because they don't take all of them from that game. They take some of them, and then they introduce like custom-made ones, like the fucking Hellfire Gala costume. I don't give a fuck about that. Give me my metallic suit again. What the hell? Like, I don't need this shit. Like, I didn't like that they put like custom ones in. But what is cool, you could change the colors on the regular ones. So like you can make.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you could take the Ben Reilly costume with like the hoodie, but you could put Spider-Man in like a white suit with like a red hoodie, or like black and white, so it looks like symbiote. You know, they're like they're
Sure,
preset.
yeah, I like
they're
that.
preset colors, but it's still cool. There's customizable options. But like there's so many costumes from the book that I'm like, why isn't this in the game? And like it was in the
Honestly,
first
yeah.
game, why is it not in this one? It's like weird. And they ran into an issue where there was a lot of Peter costumes, but there's not a lot of costumes for Miles, so they were just making shit up for him. And it's like,
Well, yeah, I mean, so Miles doesn't have the benefit of existing for like 50 years either, you know?
exactly, yeah. But that's another thing. It's like if he doesn't have a lot, you don't need to give him a new one. You know, you didn't need to give him his Adidas costume, his sponsored Adidas costume. Like that was
Adidas.
yeah.
It's got Run DMC playing when he wears the costume.
Adidas, my favorite Korn song.
Yes, same.
Oh man. Only on this podcast
That's-
we can go
you
from
know
talking
what?
about
That's
Miles
what's-
Morales to Korn.
That's what's playing in Miles' head every time you see his Spider-Gwen. He's like, that's my favorite Korn song, Gwen. Did you know that? But it's only because I see you.
Well, there's still a ton of games that like are out there that aren't on this list. You know, Spawn had a game, Exo Man of War. Yeah,
Actually, no. Spawn had 3.
yeah, 3. Oh yeah, he had the 3D one too. I forgot about that on Xbox.
You know what? Okay, so I'm trying to think. He had a PS1 game.
Mm-hmm.
He had a arcade game that also came out on Dreamcast.
Yes.
He also had Armageddon, which came out on PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. And he also had the Super Nintendo game, so that's 4 games that he had.
So yes, he had Spawn Armageddon from 2004.
That's probably the best one out of the bunch.
Spawn in the Demon's Hand for the Dreamcast and arcade.
Yep.
From 2000. Spawn the Eternal, that's the one for PlayStation 1 from 1997. And
Really
then there
bad.
was Spawn. It was just called Spawn for the
Yep.
Game Boy Color. September 15th, 1999.
But there's also one that came out on the Super Nintendo. So the Game Boy Color one is probably like a port.
Yeah,
that
it must have
one.
been on that one, yeah. It doesn't say here, but it must have been. Because I do remember that being... Oh, wait. Okay, no, that's a different one. That's Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the video game.
Yes. Yes.
That was the
Title
first
and
one from
all.
'95. Todd had to get his name on the cover. Fucking Todd loves seeing his name everywhere.
I mean,
So
that's
yeah,
why he's
so
in
yeah,
the
we're gonna
intro for
create
the
a
show.
we're gonna create a hockey team.
Yeah. I mean, he did own a hockey team for a while.
Yeah, I want the jerseys with the Spawn logo on it. I will pay a heavy dollar for that.
They're pretty sick. I would love to collect them as well.
Spawn hockey jersey. There's some for sale, buddy.
Is that right?
It's not expensive, bro.
Is it really?
It's about the price of a regular hockey jersey. This is a youth though. It's youth for 150.
Right.
Never mind. No, I need an
I
adult.
can't fit. I can't fit in that.
Super
bro.
fine this morning. Someone just found it at a fucking yard sale. That pisses me off.
Yeah, that
I'm
pisses
mad.
me off too. What the fuck?
What the hell? Spawn hockey jersey. Give me an adult size. I see this one, but that's like not what I want. I want it to look like this one. Damn, maybe they're not for sale as much as I thought. They got a baseball jersey for $400.
How about that ICP hockey jersey though?
Dude,
that was crazy.
Whoa. Vintage 90s Spawn hockey hat.
I'm pretty sure Todd used to wear that hat all the time.
Holy fuck, I want this. $450.
I don't think
I know
want it that bad.
He used to
though.
wear this all the time. This is on his McFarlane figure of
Yes.
himself. Just the
Yes.
Spawn logo
Yep.
on a hat.
Yep.
$150. I'm about to have someone bootleg this shit for me. Fuck this. I'll go to Lids. See, like, yo, make this. Damn, there's some dude. I'm gonna start wearing 90s Spawn stuff. It's gonna be my fit from going forward. Yeah, it's my Spawn fit. Wear the movie merch. Hell yeah. Can't wait till we review the movie on this podcast.
Oh, we have to have Tonight for that. Holy shit, we have to have Tonight for that.
Haven't watched Spawn. Oh man, I wonder if he's seen it. I wonder.
I
I'm curious.
recently rewatched it back in November. It was
It's
fun.
one of those.
It wasn't really good, but it was fun.
It's one of those. So I'll watch that Spawn movie like how I watch the director's cut of Daredevil, and I say the director's cut because that's the better version of that movie. That's the
Which is
version
fair.
with Coolio. That's literally the only way to get Matt Murdock being a lawyer is through the director's cut. And it's great. there's more fight scenes, there's more director scenes, or not director, there's more lawyer scenes. Dude, there's scenes of like that are taken right out the book, it only in the director's cut. I'm like, why would you cut this? Like,
Which, by the way,
I don't get it.
You're gonna make a Daredevil movie and not show him as a fucking lawyer?
Literally.
What?
That's why it pisses me off that like I'll go to Disney Plus to watch Daredevil and it's not the director's cut. Like, how would you not have the director's cut on Disney Plus? It's just the regular version.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fucking weird, man.
And I will say I'm glad to see that the tide has turned on Daredevil, where people acknowledge that like the director's cut is what should have came out, and the director's cut is not bad. I'm glad people finally realize that.
That's interesting because I'll have to watch the director's cut. I've never seen it. I've only seen the theatrical cut.
So I have the DVD, and it was one night I was just like hanging out, had nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna order a pizza, have a couple brewskis, and watch some 2000s Marvel movies. So I had a stack, dude. I was like, I had Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Hulk. I was like, I'm just gonna watch these again, you know? And I was like, I'm gonna start with Daredevil. I put Daredevil in, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't remember like any of this. And I'm like, I watched this movie a lot. I don't remember any of this shit. And then I remembered, like, I guess we had two versions of the movie. We had the regular and the director's. I ended up just so happily grabbing the director's cut from our DVD bin I have. And then I look at it.
Choice in hindsight.
Yeah, and then I pick up the disc. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look at the case and it says director's cut at top. And I'm like, there's a director's cut? It's like I watched it through. And all the other movies I stacked up, did not watch that night. Because after that, I was on YouTube watching people review it. Because everyone was like, we never knew this existed. Like, why is this not known? And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I'm like that gif of Sting where he's like, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That was me. I was like, whoa. And I texted Drew and I was like, did you know there's a director's cut? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, why didn't you tell me that like we own this?
He's like, I've been hoarding this info all along.
I've been watching this bad movie, loving the bad movie since I was a kid, not knowing that there's a better version of it. It's great. And listen, it's a guilty pleasure movie. I'll watch that all the time. I love the little Easter eggs to the comic book. Like, the guy he's fighting is called John Romita. And I'm like, okay. You know, John Romita Jr.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the guy who Daredevil's dad's boxing on the match he's supposed to throw when they kill him. He's boxing a guy named John Romita. And then there was another one. I gotta find it, but there's another Easter egg in there to another Daredevil creator. Oh, was it Klaus Janson or Frank Miller? There was someone they name drop in there that they're taking to court, and I'm like, oh shit, that's the creator. You know, that's the guy who worked on Daredevil.
Right.
Oh fuck, I forgot who it is. It's the guy that Foggy is taking to court.
Okay.
But yeah, do they say it in it? I don't think they say it, but yeah, very very cool, man, very cool.
Oh my god! Speaking about Daredevil, so I'm watching the TV show the other day, and my stepmom walks in, and it's a scene where I think they're in the courtroom. Ed Foggy's talking and whatever. My stepmom walks in and she goes, "Isn't that the fucking kid from Mighty Ducks?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. The actor who plays Foggy was in Mighty Ducks. I forgot about that."
That's amazing.
Yeah, instantly she was like, "Yeah, isn't that the kid from Mighty Ducks?"
Oh man, dude, I'm so excited for the show.
I'm excited for it as well.
I'm so pumped. I'm trying to talk Christina into watching the Netflix show, but she doesn't want to. I'm like, man, you wanted to watch fucking Moon Knight, but you don't want to watch Daredevil?
I heard Moon Knight was good, but I still haven't seen it.
But it's like, if you want to watch Moon Knight, why don't you want to watch Daredevil, which is amazing? You know? I'm like, man, get out of here. Or even my fiance. Do you even love me? Speaking of, I know this has been actually. I'm looking at this episode, Ajax. This is a very multimedia themed episode.
It is, isn't it?
Of the monthly dive to the long box. There's not a lot of long box talk. There's a lot of things about movies, and we're gonna keep that trend going. Because we are looking at this month in Wizard magazine, and I love looking at their casting calls. And it just so happens this casting call was found around the time that I was doing my review for Comic Book Click. And it is a casting call for my favorite Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner.
Oh,
and this is very fitting because we now have cast our Green Lanterns for the new DCU. We have our Jon Stewart cast, and we have our who else is cast in that movie? Is it
Guy Gardner?
Is it? Oh yes, we got Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, we got Hal, and I think that's all for now.
Which everyone is shitting on, but you guys have no fucking idea what you're talking about. It looks exactly like he's supposed to look like.
Dude, I think the Hal Jordan casting is. Oh, you're talking about Guy Gardner?
Guy Gardner, yes.
Dude, it looks amazing. Did you see what they put for the Super Bowl? It was a video of Guy Gardner, and it was like the only bowl I care about, and it was him messing with his hair.
Yes, it was amazing. Awesome.
I forgot what's his name that drew. He drew Guy Gardner for Justice League. I forgot his name. He tweeted the picture from the trailer, and he goes, "Yup, that's something I draw." And it's like, all right, it's got the artist's blessing. Like, I don't know why anyone hated that look. He looks like Guy Gardner. It's like people shitting on the Thing design for the new movie. He looks like the Thing. What are you talking about?
Like, oh man, he looks. I can't really think of anything that I would add to that design.
No, I would not. It's perfect.
I have more of a problem with his voice.
It needs to be deeper.
Else.
It needs to be deeper. But I do like he has that New Yorker voice. I do like that. He just doesn't sound like a regular dude. He has like that New Yorker kind of tone to his voice, where he's like, "Oh, there we go" when he talks. It just needs to be. It needs to be like gravelier. That's it. That's all.
Yes. Yes.
Like his insides are made of fucking stone, so he needs to be a little bit gravelier. And you know, I don't hate the castings I saw from the trailer. The trailer looked really good. I'm actually really excited for the movie. But someone put something that made me change my mind completely. Where they were like, if this movie's set in it's set like I think in the 60s, right, or 50s.
I think so.
They were like, setting this movie in the 50s in like another universe, and having Pedro Pascal but not making him vintage Iron Man was a mistake. And I was like, holy fuck, he looks like Tony Stark, like the OG Iron Man with a little mustache.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, he would have been a perfect like vintage Tony Stark. I was like, oh fuck.
I'm sure I'll get shit for this. I'm not crazy about him being Reed.
That's a common thing. A lot of people are not crazy about it.
And it's not because he's far from being a bad actor.
Yeah, he's gonna play it. He's gonna play it well. It's just
he's just not who I would have picked. He would have been my first choice.
So I'm cool with it only because I like him as an actor. So I was like, we'll see. You know, I'll see how it goes. And at the same time, it was like we got John Krasinski, and I was like, all right, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. When it came to the other Reed we got,
yeah,
I was like, yeah, he looks like, you know, Reed from like the 2012, you know, with the beard and stuff. But I don't know.
I still really like the 2005 Reed, the actor who played him. I like him a lot.
I think he's problematic now, though.
Oh, is he actually?
I think he got canceled. Because I think they were all supposed to show up in Deadpool and Wolverine, but he isn't allowed to do things anymore. If I'm correct, I have to look that up. But I think
that's a shame.
That's the case. Yeah.
No, fuck man, I still would have figured out a spot for Jessica Alba.
Yeah, I know, right? Honestly, honestly, because he played Reed well. He was like,
he did.
I think the only thing he was, I think, a little too suave to be Reed though. Like his Reed was very he was kind of like a Rizzler Reed, you know what I mean? Dancing at the club, you know. Reed was very set in. He was he was very set in his science in the books, which they did do in the movie. He was very set in his science, but this man was fucking risen up all the girls on the dance floor. And I do love that deleted scene where he's like changing his faces and he changes into Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That was cool. But yeah, like Reed's kind of a dick in the books, and I think he needed to be a little bit more dickish, you know? Which I'm like, I wonder if Pedro Pascal is going to be that. where he's just like, he's so blinded by his science, he's kind of a dick to everyone, which is how he is in the book.
I really think that they nailed the casting for everyone besides Reed.
Yeah.
I like the idea that they casted guys that I don't know about. I don't know Vanessa Kirby. I don't know the guy who plays the Thing. You know what I mean? I don't know them, and I like that.
So the only two I knew were Pedro Pascal and the Thing. And it's because I watched The Bear.
Oh, okay.
And he's in The Bear. That's why there's a meme going around of him cooking the food with Herbie. And they're posting like audio from the bear, where he's cussing at each other in the kitchen. It's hilarious, bro. Because all he's doing is cooking in the show, so it's funny seeing him cook as the Thing. And he's also in Star Wars, and he's also in Punisher.
Oh,
really? The Netflix Punisher. He plays what's his name? Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on his partner? Why am I drawing a blank right now? Microchip. He plays Microchip.
Oh, fuck. He plays Microchip?
Yeah, the guy with the long hair.
Yeah.
He's Microchip. Okay. That's a guy playing the Thing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So you have seen him before.
So I guess what I should say is they're not relative unknowns.
They're not like big all A-list names besides Pedro
That's Pascal. What I mean. Pedro Pascal is an A-lister. Yeah. I didn't want an A-lister to play Reed.
Yeah.
I didn't want an A-lister in the main cast in general.
I like when they pull people out of nowhere, like it did with Tom Holland. Where it's like, whoa, this guy just is Spider-Man. You know? Or Kamala Khan. Like, oh, this chick is Kamala Khan. And it just so happened, too, she's a fan of the comics, too. So I was like, oh, that's cool. You know?
Yeah.
It was very rare.
They fucking nailed that casting for Miss Marvel.
Dude, and it's so cool looking at the picture of her going to, like, costume parties and she's dressed as Kamala. And then, like, she ended up being her in the MCU. Did you see those pictures?
Yeah. She's she's also Canadian, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, is she? Oh, wow.
She is, yeah.
So I could see, like, I know, like, movies, they, you know, if they're able to get an A-lister, they're gonna, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's
I just feel like it's lazy.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's so lazy.
I think it was one of those things where it's like Pedro wants, like, he's down to do a movie. We're hot off the heels of fucking Last of Us. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, yeah. Yeah. So it's like, if they're able, and he wants to do it, and we have the money, it's like, I think that was I think that's their mindset, you know, of, well, why not, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I'm guessing he played it well in the casting or whatever. I heard there's a lot of like A-list actors that end up just like not getting roles, but played it well for like nobodies. So he must have done something that really was like, all right, he's an option of everyone. Because I remember everyone they were casting as Reed that was rumored was like, oh, these guys are perfect. Like the guy from the show You, who's another kind of like non-A-lister, who I think would have been fucking great as Reed.
That's interesting. See, that's a show where I've only seen the first season and I thought it was good, and I never watched it after that.
Yeah, and they wanted him to play Reed, and I'm like, oh man, he looks like Reed. You know, he's kind of like skinny and scrawny. He's got like the long limbs, so he kind of looks like Reed.
I can see that.
Yeah, Penn Badgley, I think Badgley. Like I look at him and I'm like, this guy's Reed Richards. You know, he was one of the rumored ones. That would have been like, yeah. And he fits in with that cast that they have. So yeah, there's something there. I'm excited to watch. So I will be seated to watch Superman, and then a week later to watch Fantastic Four.
I'm going to those like first premiere.
Oh, absolutely. Night. I'm there midnight. Or even if they have a showing before midnight, I'm there. I'm watching all of those. Yeah.
There's no fucking way I'm missing those movies.
Especially
Superman, but like just both of them. I'm excited for both of them.
Well, buddy, if you want to look at something that cast only A-listers, we got this for you here. We got a casting call for Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern. Are you ready for this?
Yes. Lay it on me.
We have playing Green Lantern himself, Thomas Gibson from Chicago Hope, and Dharma and Greg playing Kyle Rayner.
I'm not familiar.
I've seen him in something. What else is he in? Thomas Gibson. I feel like I've seen him something where he's always in a suit. Is it like a cop show or something?
A cop show?
He is in Criminal Minds. Yes, that's where I know him from.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Since 2005. He's been in that show for 20 years. But
That's crazy, isn't it?
He did go on to do some DC stuff. He is in the Son of Batman. He plays Deathstroke in the Son of Batman animated movie.
Okay.
Has he done anything else with DC? I think that's it with DC, but he has gone on to do something in comic books, which I think is cool.
That is pretty cool, yeah.
They also wanted to cast as Donna Troy, none other than Yancey Butler would be playing Donna Troy.
Yancey Butler,
I was trying to bring it up as a surprise, but it's not
Right.
loading this for me for some reason.
Who played Witchblade?
Yes, who played Witchblade. There we go. Here we go. Yancey
In the
Butler. I thought I had
TV
the image
show.
ready for you. They wanted her to play Donna Troy, which I was like, you know what? I'll take it. That's a good casting. As Jon Stewart, they wanted Joe Morton, who did go on to do other stuff. Joe Morton, he's another guy that I've seen his face. Yes, he's in Terminator. He is in Blues Brothers. He's in...
Love the Blues Brothers.
Oh, he's in Ali? I didn't even see Ali. Oh, he's in The Pest. You ever seen The Pest?
I've heard about
With John
it.
Leguizamo?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
But yeah, they wanted him to play Jon Stewart,
Okay.
which is interesting. I think that's an interesting casting. As Ganthet, they wanted none other than Ray Walston. I look like an old person reading this. Usually they put the
Just
name
seem
right under it so you
confused.
can read it better. They're like mixing it
Okay.
into the paragraph. Ray Walston. What's Ray Walston up to? What's this young up-and-comer doing? Well, he's dead. Died in 2001. He is in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He is in My Favorite Martian. He is in Popeye. He's in Alf. So he's in a couple of different things. He's in the Smurfs. Who does he play? Does he play Papa Smurf? That'd be funny. Please tell me he's Papa Smurf. I can't see. That'd be funny if he is, though.
He kind of would be, yeah.
The next one is problematic. As Sentinel, they wanted Stephen Collins from Seventh Heaven.
Ooh.
That's not happening.
Ooh, I don't know about that one.
As Radu Stansu, they wanted G. Gordon Liddy to play him. I have no idea who that is.
That doesn't ring a bell for me either.
No idea, but he looks like a badass, you know? The next one I do know, playing Jade. They wanted Jade to be played by none other than Neve Campbell, or Nev Campbell. I think it's Nev Campbell. I always said it wrong. But she is known for Scream. She is the main girl in Scream.
She's also the main bad guy in Twisted Metal, the TV show right now.
Holy shit, that is her.
She's Raven. Yeah.
Dude, that is her. I didn't even think of that. Holy shit. It's been.
Have
I
you
watched
seen
that
all
back
of,
when it came out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Holy
liked it.
fuck.
It was
Oh
fun.
yeah, I think that was a lot of fun. That was a really good show. I had a good time with it. As Alexandra DeWitt, they want none other than PETA Wilson. Not PETA, like the animal thing. They wanted a model. PETA Wilson to play Alexandra DeWitt. She'd be the one being stuck inside of a fridge. Yeah, I'm guessing in this movie.
What a great role to sign up for.
Right.
Imagine your agent calls you. He's like, "Hey, do you want to be casted as someone who's dead in a fucking fridge? How much screen time do I get? Like 40 seconds, maybe."
Perfect. I'm in. Playing Parallax, a.k.a. Hal Jordan's Green Lantern alter ego. It would be the guy who played MacGyver back in the day, Richard Dean Anderson. I can't see MacGyver without thinking of this SNL MacGruber.
Yeah, I think MacGruber kind of ruined MacGyver.
Yeah, it really did, dude. They were the host of Monday Night Raw. The last host of Monday Night Raw.
Were they the last host?
Yes, they were.
Wow, I did not know that.
They ended at MacGruber. Oh,
That's
man.
so weird. So weird.
As Dr. Light, they wanted Jeremy Northam, who was in The Net.
I don't know what The Net is, but he was in that.
I don't know. He was also in, The Net with Sandra Bullock. Okay. He's in a bunch of movies that I've heard in passing, but never gave a shit to watch. Things like The Winslow Boy, The Invasion, Gosford Park, Cypher, Possession, An Ideal Husband. He's in a bunch of movies I just don't care about. As Major Force.
That's something you won't be, Gabe. An Ideal Husband.
Hey! As Major Force. They wanted Arnold to play Major Force. The Terminator himself. You know what? This is a good casting. I'll take that. The dude, Major Force, looks just like Arnold. I'll take that.
Yeah, he does. I can't shit on that.
And the last casting here is another good one, and it's someone that actually ended up in the MCU. Playing Fatality, they wanted Angela Bassett to play Fatality.
Yeah.
And then it clicked in my head. This is Wizard number 78 from 1998, and Angela Bassett looks the same.
Dude, she's aged amazing.
Yes.
Amazing how she's aged.
She has popped up so much in these castings whenever they do an X-Men one, because they always put her as Storm. And to this day, when people cast Storm, they're like, Angela Bassett.
I don't care if she's fucking 68 years old.
She still looks 35. Put her in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that is who they would cast for Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern movie. And I'm going to tell you right now, Ajax, this is a movie that might have been up your alley because there's not a lot of A-listers.
I mean,
besides
like
a couple.
The obvious one, like MacGyver or like Arnold and Angela Bassett. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone else was just in a couple things here or there at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Went on to do things, so. Not. I think looking at pictures of them, like, yeah, in pictures they look like the characters. I don't know how they do acting as them, but. Especially because
that's the thing, right? Yeah.
How old was Thomas Gibson at the time of this in 1998? He was born in 1962.
I'm that old.
So he would have been 36. Brother, Kyle Rayner was like 21 or something at this time, or like a 23-year-old.
Yeah, but they cast like 25-year-olds to be high schoolers. So
that's true. That's true. And I guess if he looked like that picture at the time, he looked young enough. He looked like he could pass as that age, I guess.
Fucking, you remember the first Spider-Man movie? Like, everyone at that high school looked like they were 28.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
yeah.
Holy fuck. And Tobey Maguire himself was probably 28 on the dot.
And Mary Jane, too. They were just full-on adults. Like, they did not look like teens.
At all.
But I'm glad they were consistent and no one out that school looked like a teen. Like, everyone looked old. Like, when they went in the hallway to fight, like, everyone looked old as fuck.
Everyone did. Everyone looks like a fucking college senior.
But what's funny, though, if you look at those people that, like, recorded their high schools in, like, 2003, everyone looks old as fuck.
Yes.
So maybe people just looked, they just looked older back in the day.
I did not look like that when I was 18 and graduating.
Dude, to this day, I watch things like wrestling. And there's these people wrestling that are younger than me that look older than me. And I'm like, do I just look like a child or like what?
I think it just might be that. I think
like
we have
wrestling,
to come to terms with that.
I look at people like Braun Breaker, who's younger than me. I'm like, this dude looks old as fuck. Maybe it's the muscles? I don't fucking know. I'm older than I'm his senior.
Yeah.
I'm almost 30. I mean, I guess that's good for me. Hopefully I look young forever.
Bro's like, what, 25, 24?
I've kind of just looked like this since like high school. So hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, I look practically the same since I graduated.
Hopefully I go to my high school reunion this year. I'm going to roll up in a Spider-Man costume.
Roll out. Bum, 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 roll out.
And hopefully everyone looks uglier than me. That's going to be the hope.
That's what you hope for, right?
Yeah, hopefully everyone is ugly and I'm doing good, you know? It'll make me feel better about myself.
You hope that all the girls that like you thought were hot in high school are like really ugly now.
Well, everyone, that was issue 24 of the monthly dive into the long box. I think this was a really fun one. We really branched out into like media with this one, which was really cool. We talked about a lot of things I don't think we've ever really talked about. So I think that was a lot of fun. What do you think? A good 2-year anniversary?
I had a great time with it.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Well, on our next issue, Jocelyn, we got a tough one here. It's going to be interesting. We're going to have a little bit of fun on the next one, all right?
Is that right?
We usually do a lot of, like, you know, history, and we'll talk about, like, our favorite things or whatever. You know, we're going to be talking about things. We're going to be talking about, you know, our Marvel Premiere Collection, whatever, you know, those new compact editions.
Sure, yeah.
We're going to put ourselves to the test to try to come up with some iconic graphic novels for Marvel to make. Like, you know how we did with DC? We kind of made a guess of what we would want to see. A lot of them are being made.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. We're going to do the same for Marvel now with their Premiere Collection. But we're going to have a little fun next time because I'm a person that loves myself some tabletop role-playing games. Specifically for superheroes.
Specifically for that, right?
We are going to, I have a site where you roll dice and there's things for your hero where if you roll like a 6, your hero has electricity powers. If you roll a 7, he has 4 arms. You know what I mean? We are going to make unfortunate heroes and hope they come out looking cool by the power of the randomizer.
Heroes.
Yes, we are each going to make a hero with a random dice roll and see how they come out.
Okay, I like the idea of that.
And I even have a site for a name generator too. So they not only will they have powers, weaknesses, powers, abilities, they will have names also by the end of next month. We will have unique characters to ourselves. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think it would be a lot of fun too.
And then on our one shot, as we mentioned earlier, you can listen to us review Bloodshot #1. I even got the little cool card in the back here of the cover. So we're going to be reviewing Bloodshot #1. Look forward to that. And we'll see you on the next one. For Dawson and Gabe, we're going to sign off.